project today is a city skyline, a runny, drippy, colorful row of buildings and the spaces in between them. In this version, it's the buildings that are full of color and running down the page. They make up the positive space, while the sky itself is plain white. That's what we call negative space. It's empty. Nothing is really happening there. But in this version, it's the same city skyline, but the city is white and it's the sky that's spilling the color, making it the positive space. This looks like a whole lot of fun. So let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Now this could be a city that's familiar to you or one you just make up. It's a good idea to look at some of the buildings and cities around the world. Old ones, new ones, even ones that have yet to be built. This is a laminating film. It's adhesive on one side, kind of like shelf paper. It really likes to curl because it comes on a roll. So you can cut some pieces off and place them beneath heavy books and they'll lie flat for you. Now you notice how the back side is marked with a grid? This makes it real easy to make straight lines for walls. So I'm going to start with a pretty simple building here. You can draw the shape of it following the lines, or you don't really have to. If you'd like to make a dome or a slope or something like that, you can go outside the lines. Here's an assortment of building shapes that I've drawn. Now I'm going to cut this out and keep in mind that windows and details and things like that can be drawn in later. These are just the outline of the shapes. It's very important that you cut only on the pencil lines. We want two pieces, a positive and a negative, for each building. Okay, so there are my two pieces for that building. Now I'm going to set this one aside for now, and I'm going to peel away the adhesive on this one. And on a piece of watercolor paper, I'm going to stick this down along the bottom, like so. It needs to be burnished down very well so you have really good contact with the paper. Now, you can use any kind of a rounded edge tool if you would like, a pottery tool, a wooden tool, something that's plastic. I'm using a quarter. And you can kind of see how the stencil is changing as I get good contact there with the paper. You want to make sure that the edges especially are burnished down well so we don't get the paint dripping underneath there. All right, I have a couple more building shapes that have been cut out here. And if you have anything left over, you can either fold it under or cut it away like this. Okay, so there's one cityscape. Now if I have the negative shapes as well, I can take these shapes and peel them away and put them on another sheet of paper here. There it is. Put them on another sheet of paper here and create a second city skyline like this. Okay, here's the fun part. We're going to tempera paint down the page. Now Blick has a variety of temperas to choose from. There's the economic essentials tempera, our student graded tempera, and our very fine premium quality tempera. Any will work, but if you have to consider what happens when the colors run together. Now this is a really good time to talk about color temperatures. Which colors are considered warm, which are considered cool. If we would create one skyline in warm colors and one in cool, it's not only an indication of climate in our city, it's a good way to make sure that our colors stay bright as they mix and we don't end up with shades of brown or gray. Now this process is really fun to do if you've got a little easel. You can mount this or clip it to a piece of cardboard to help hold it up straight for you. I'm just going to hold it myself while I demonstrate. And you want to have it in the vertical position. It's a good idea to have a stack of newspapers, I've got paper towels, or a shallow tray underneath to catch the paint because it is going to drip. That's the point. All right, now I've got a palette here of warm colors. I've got some yellow, some orange, and some red. I'm going to start out with the orange, and I'm paint it directly onto the stencil material and a little bit off of it too, so that I can make sure that I've got all of the building covered. A little bit here and there, and then let's switch. Let's do the yellow next. Okay, do you see the bubbles that are occurring on the orange paint that I put down? The paint really does not want to stick to the stencil material, and that's good because we want it to slide off, don't we? Okay, now just a touch of red to complete my warm temperature palette here. And here comes the fun part. I have a spray bottle, and I'll direct a stream of water right up here against the tempera paint. And you can see how it just wants to slide right off that stencil. Now I like to go along the bottom here, and that kind of creates a little wet channel that is going to help the paint on its journey to the bottom of the page. Now, you need to allow this to dry before you remove the stencil film. Otherwise, you'll have a real mess. So let me set this aside. And here I have a version that's already been dry. So let's just grab the edge of the stencil film here and gently, we're going to peel it away. Like this. Okay, I think that's going to go this way. And there's our city skyline. Now you can use a pencil or a fine line marker to draw the details such as the windows, balconies, columns, domes, spires. This is where your city really comes to life. Now, of course, you don't have to separate your city into warm or cool colors. Here's one with a rainbow spectrum. If you'd like to see this lesson plan as a PDF with step-by-step instructions and some options for making it fun for all ages, please take a look at dickblick.com.